Hello, everyone. It's Tom. As I promised, I was going to make a video. Um, I think I'm going to start the interview for myself, since I was planning on doing that about a week or two ago. But um, yeah, my phone decided it didn't want to cooperate. So let's see about me. Um, Probably not too much different than everyone else. I've worked the majority of my life mostly for other people, um, allowing them to be able to live the life they wanted to, go on vacations, things of that nature. I drove a tractor trailer for almost 30 years, over the road and locally. Um, Depended on what my ex-wife wanted. When I got on her nerves, then I went back on the road. When she wanted me home, then I got a local job. So, um, but yeah, it's just a lot of people that I've spoken to before uh, are under the misconception that truck drivers they make a lot of money. They don't. Uh, you definitely don't get rich doing it. Uh, my dad, he did it since 75. He retired, had to go get out of retirement, go back to driving part time because, of course, retirement and Social Security just didn't pay enough for him. Uh, so that him and his wife could be able to live. Um, Now I'm fortunate enough to be able to, um, I guess, more or less work for myself. I pick my own hours when I want to work for the most part. Um, if one day I feel like I don't want to work, I don't work that day. Just work the next day. So, um, I haven't as of yet been able to go on vacation again, but that'll come at some point. I think in almost 30 years of driving, I think I've taken maybe 5 vacations in the entire time that I drove, if that. Um, Unfortunately, with driving, uh, they don't give you very much time for yourself or your family. Um, you, that's a lot of the reasons why I got into health issues that I have with my CHF. Um, but that was mainly because of my own doing. Um, I allowed others to influence me and my stress level. Uh, I mean, we all joke around. As you see, I have a lot of gray in my beard and nice receding hairline, things of that nature. But we all joke around all the time that so and so, usually your wife, gives you all the gray hair, or your boss, or whatever. But honestly, we do things to ourselves. We allow others to influence us when they shouldn't. Um, and that's taken me a lot of years to figure out. Um, and yeah, I wish I knew what I know now years ago. I really do. Um, but at least I know things that I didn't before now. So, and I'm able to apply those things now, even though it's later in my life. Um, we're the younger generation. They don't seem to understand. I mean, I was the same way when I was a teenager. I thought that I was invincible and nothing can hurt me, and I'm just gonna live forever. That was the mentality. That's the mentality a lot of the young people nowadays. Also, we all went through the same thing. Um, and it gets us through that part of our life. Uh, Shockingly enough, I don't know how we tend to take a lot more risk when we're younger. Um, as we get older, we look back in our lives and we say, that's some crazy stuff I did back in the day. I say that a lot myself. Um, Back when I had a motorcycle, and yeah, I guess I didn't value life as much as I do now, or family, the things that are actually important. Um, we all tend to put priority in places that shouldn't be in that position. Um, like we sometimes will put our jobs first when it should be our family first, always. Um, because a job can come and go. Um, Unfortunately, with a lot of companies, you're nothing but a number. Half the time, they don't even know your name, especially with trucking companies. All you are is a truck number. When you call into dispatch, first thing you got to tell them is your truck number, because none of them know your name unless you've been working with them long enough and their driver uh, list is small enough to where they can spend a little more time with their drivers. But for the most part, most companies, you know, and it depends also on the dispatcher. If they, some of them don't really care to acknowledge how important drivers are. Um, in fact, a lot of times the owners of the companies they forget how important drivers are, and a lot of the owners started out as drivers, and it's very unfortunate. But uh, money plays a big part in that. Um, when they start seeing all the money that they have and gain from their drivers, they forget basically where they came from. That they too started off as a driver. Um, but I'm getting off topic. My topic tonight is me and what got me in the situation that I'd gotten into, becoming an invisible person. Um, After I had gotten diagnosed with CHF, I had taken some time off to try and heal up, which I did. 4 months that I lived with my dad and my stepmother. Um, since then, my dad's passed away uh, quite a few years ago now. Um, but yeah, I found myself back in Florida again when that took place. When I was in the hospital and I got diagnosed with CHF. The doctor told me that I could no longer drive. And for someone that's done a particular job majority of their life, that's pretty tough pill to swallow. Um, but when you allowed the job to consume you as much as I allowed it to myself, um, that tends to happen. Uh, so I spent 4 months in Florida, got completely better, got a clean bill of health from the doctor. I wasn't cured from CHF, not by a long shot, but I was well enough to be able to go back to work. Um, so things there were tough for the most part. Uh, my mother, she had a few years back had contracted dementia. Um, so just me being there caused her a lot of stress, mental stress. She didn't really understand why I was there um, most days. Uh, she thought it was something completely different, which I won't get into. But to say the least, it was very stressful living there for the 4 months that I was there. Um, Ended up getting kicked out 3 or 4 times for doing absolutely nothing but getting better, trying to get better, health wise. Um, then the last time uh, I had contacted my previous boss here in Houston, and in that 4 months, I had been dispatching for him uh, remotely, naturally. Um, and I asked him if he needed a driver, and he said, "Yeah, actually, I do. I'm gonna have to let go of one of the drivers that I've got now." And he asked me if I had somebody in mind, and I said, "Yeah, you're talking to him." And he said, "Do you have a doctor's note stating you can go back to driving?" And I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Okay." So he got me a plane ticket uh, back over to Houston from Florida, and it started driving again. Um, did that, ran over the road for him for a few more years. Uh, Ended up in Utah. From what the hospital said, they stated that I had a mild heart attack. Um, which, shockingly enough, I was driving while it happened, driving an 18 wheeler, actually ascending up a mountain in Utah when I thought it was just an anxiety attack. My girlfriend at the time, she called my boss. It was late, and she told him what was going on. He looked at the location of the truck, and he said, "Well, you guys just passed the truck stop. Can he drive the truck back down to the truck stop, and we can get an ambulance to you guys?" So I drove back down the mountain and got safely to the truck stop, parked. Um, got rushed in, at which point they transferred me to a different hospital after the initial checkup. Said that they were not equipped for my condition. So they sent me to a bigger hospital, and they were the ones that stated that the initial hospital said that I had a mild heart attack. I said, okay. Well, just like when I was diagnosed with CHF, when I was in the emergency room in Arkansas, that's where I was there when I got diagnosed with this condition. Um, they back then I was not able to control my blood pressure um, very well, and so my blood pressure was skyrocketing, and so of course they naturally gave me morphine to try and lower it down, uh, and of course for some of the nurses out there that may be watching my channel, you all know that sometimes one of the side effects of the morphine is you feel like you have to make a bowel movement, which that day, yeah, I felt like it. So there was a nurse's aide there. Told her that I felt like I needed to use the bathroom. She's like, all right, you want to use a bedpan or a bedside commode? Well, because mentally I thought there was nothing wrong with me, so I thought I could be able to get up from the bed and sit on the commode. And I told her I'd prefer doing the commode. And she said, okay, I'll help you. So as soon as I went to sit up and I went to put my feet down, was getting ready to put my feet down to stand up, I just felt very lightheaded. And luckily I didn't swing my legs around. I just kind of flopped back on the bed. And of course all the buzzers and bells and whistles were going off, and all the doctors and nurses, they rushed into the room asking me if I was okay, and I said yes. Why are you all in this tiny little room? And they said, well, we almost lost you just now. That was what all the warnings were about. And I said, well, if I almost died just then, I think I could handle it because I didn't feel anything. So other than felt like I had to pass out. So, but that's me. I kind of make a joke about everything. Um, but anyways, I spent 2 weeks in the hospital there. First week I lost 60 pounds in water weight. That's how much I had packed on. Um, and I had no medication because had never been diagnosed with it. But close to the end of my stay there, getting ready to be discharged, the doctor had contacted my dad in Florida and told him the situation because I didn't call him. I didn't want to bother him. And he made arrangements to fly out and come and pick me up, fly back to Florida, and I was going to live with him and my stepmother for however long I needed to be there. So, jump ahead quite a bit, actually. Through the years of working with this last company I was with, um, again, I allowed the stress and not going to the doctor, not getting my prescriptions filled, things of that nature to all affect me. And I kept going into the hospital, in and out of the hospital, getting fluid drained. And then my previous boss, employer, he and I both decided that it was probably time for me to call it quits as far as driving, um, which I had agreed with him. Uh, about a year before that happened, I had already started to set my mind up for that it was going to eventually happen. Um, so I had ended up in the hospital one last time, and my kids that time, my ex-wife came and saw me, and uh, we had originally planned, because the place I was living at, um, because I had been out of a job for a few months. Of course, I was behind on rent, so they wanted to put somebody in the place who was going to pay. So, uh, so my children, they were nice enough to take me in. Ended up staying with them for a short time, a few months, before uh, it was decided that uh, basically it was too much for me to be there with no income. Um, and I, at that point, found myself homeless for the first time in my life. No, sorry, second time. I've been homeless one time before. Um, Not quite as long, I don't believe, though. Uh, but in a previous video, you all know that I had gotten one job and I thought it was going to work out, and it ended up being a scam. So luckily I didn't lose any money in that one. Uh, I didn't make any money, not per se, but I made a little bit, but not that much. Um, but now I'm at a job that actually pays good. As you can see behind me, I'm indoors. I'm not outside. Uh, been indoors now for the better part of a month now, close to it, about 3 weeks. I've been in the same room 2 or 3 weeks now. Um, so uh, I get paid enough to where I was able to pay for a month, um, and for right at the moment, I think that I'll be staying in a motel. I've done the math, um, and for me, at this point in my life, being single for the most part, well, living alone, I should say, to be more specific, um, it's easier for me to be in a motel versus having an apartment, because there's a lot of added extra expense to an apartment or a house that I don't have with a motel. Um, for instance, I don't have to pay extra for electricity. Uh, I'm not going to say that I get free electricity or free anything, because you're still paying for it through what you pay for the room. But I don't pay an extra bill. That's basically what it is. I pay one flat rate, one flat fee for the entire month. I think I pay once a week, if I'm not mistaken. Comes out of my account. Um, but I don't have the extra bill of an electricity bill, water bill, sewer bill. I get, well, I think it's Dish Network or DirecTV or something like that. Plus, there's free Wi-Fi in all the rooms, so I get internet as well. So basically, I get everything I would would have gotten in an apartment. Plus, because of the type of motel I'm in, they have a little kitchenette and with a full-size refrigerator, and they give you to use um, kitchen utensils, pots and pans, plates, silverware, things of that nature. Um, but again, it's good for me. I don't need a whole lot of space. Uh, I have a comfortable bed to sleep in. I've got AC since it's definitely getting hot in Houston already. It's not even summertime yet, and we're already at 90 degrees every single day. Um, Plus, I have a bathroom to utilize and shower and everything else. So, but uh, but yeah, that's a little bit of uh, my history and enable a way for you to just get to know me a little more. What makes me me, kind of thing. Um, I've lived in different states. I was born in Ohio. I've lived in Florida twice now. I've lived in South Carolina and currently living in Texas. Um, the only thing I don't like about Houston is the summertime because during the summer it's usually 100 degrees every single day. That takes a lot out of you. Um, but other than that, uh, for the most part, people are very nice here. Um, Traffic, I don't know. People complain about the traffic, but you can have traffic anywhere. I've been all over the country. Trust me, there's traffic anywhere. Um, but yeah, for right now, I think I'll stay in Houston. I don't really have any plans at the moment for moving anywhere else. So, um, but yeah, that's a little bit about me and how I've been at a very low point in my life and I've been able to get out of it. So, I'm not the only one that's been able to do that. There's been a lot of people that have been able to do it. Um, and I'm sure I won't be the last. So, but until next time, be kind, be nice to everyone else, be a good human, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you.